Hey guys, me, TMD's Hype here on the second channel, and welcome back to some Forza Motorsport 7, where today we're taking a look at this gorgeous Ford GT made in the year of 2017. So like I said, this is a review, and we are reviewing the 2017 Ford GT, and just look at it, it's amazing. I adore this car. I genuinely love this car, and we're going to get into why just now. So, before we get into the shenanigans of this vehicle, what we need to know is why this car was put into production. And that was because in around the 1960s, I think it was, 1980, somewhere around that, there was a car manufacturer called Ferrari. And there was a car manufacturer called Ford. We all know this story. Ford tried to buy Ferrari, but Ferrari wanted to keep hold of their motorsport side of things, and Ford wasn't going to let them. So what Ferrari decided to do was say no to the contract that Ford was offering to buy them for. And so this made Henry Ford very mad. And what he did was try and make a car which would beat Ferrari at the 24 Hours of Le Mans. And so he did. But it took a couple of years, but he eventually got it. And this car was therefore known as the Ford GT40. And since then, there's been no car that Ford have really made which is kind of like it. But in the year of 2005, Ford tried to remake the GT40, and they did very well with one of my all-time favourite cars, the Ford GT. And what this did was recreate the GT40 in a then modern day upgrade of a car. And this was the Ford GT. This was just named the 2005 Ford GT. Now, 12 years later, Ford decided to relight the fire of the GT40 by making a predecessor to the predecessor. So this is the predecessor to the Ford GT, which was the predecessor to the Ford GT40. And let me tell you, it is glorious. So you can buy this car from the auto show for 445,000 credits. Yes, that is a lot. But if you want to buy the Ford GT40, that's at least $1 million now. The Ford GT, the 2005 one, is a lot cheaper. That's because it's gone down in depreciation value. Now, the biggest change with this Ford GT is the fact that the engine is now a V6. And that is very strange. They want to make a predecessor to a car which engine was a V8. The Ford GT40 had a V8, the Ford GT had a V8, but this Ford GT has a V6, so they're dropping 2 extra cylinders off it. But I don't care. It is such a nice sounding engine, it's such a good engine, and we're going to get into why now. So, the twin turbocharged 3.5 litre V6 produces 647 horsepower, 550 foot-pounds of torque, and it weighs just over 3,148 pounds. Now, that power-to-weight ratio even, is ecstatic. It is amazing. It's so unbelievably good. For this car, it's just amazing. It's got more power than the other cars do. It weighs, I think, about similar, but that's because this car is actually an EcoBoost, which we didn't have back in the GT40 days or the original GT days. But you know how times change. And you might think, oh, it's a silly little supercar, it's going to spin all its power away, not be able to get around corners. But as you can see, this thing has so much grip. And that's because it's got 2 4.5s on the front, which means it's got really good turning. It's got 3 2.5s on the rear, which are huge. They're actually huge and can get the power down really well. As well as having sport tyres as standard, the traction is amazing. And this car is rear-wheel drive mid-engined. So you literally, if you sit in cockpit cam, or you actually use this thing in real life, the engine is making noise right behind your head. Literally right behind your head. So if you put your head a bit far back, you're going to be decapitated. But that's if you didn't have the engine cover on, which all 4 GTs do come with free of charge when you buy the car. And all this power, all this grip means 0 to 60 in 2.9 seconds. 2.9. This is rear-wheel drive. To put it in prospect, the Nissan GTR that we set on last week, that did not 60 in 2.8 seconds. That was 4-wheel drive. Yep, this car's very, very fast. 0 to 100 in 5.5 seconds. The 4 GTs, the Nissan GTR, that was 6 seconds. This car is amazing. 60 to 0 on 131 feet and 100 to 0 on 307 feet. And this car has a top speed, which I'm quite sad with, but that's because it is a race car, of 228 miles an hour, which is, don't get me wrong, very, very fast. But it's not really super / hypercar territory. Now, to me, I would say this isn't a hypercar, this is a supercar. But to other people, they say it is a hypercar. Listen to it, look at it, for example. This car is astounding to look at. You honestly want to buy this thing just so you can look at it every single day. Look, it's just so nice. It is just, it's a beautiful car, drives beautifully, and it's just amazing. The brakes on it, which I'm very pleased to announce, are impeccable. Like the couple of cars we've took recently, the brakes are horrific. The brakes on this thing are so nice, they literally rip your face off how good they are. And you've got the active air at the back, which comes out at around approximately 60 miles an hour, which then keeps you glued to the floor, which is awesome. And it's just, it's so good. Like, it's really hard to explain how good this car is, and if you haven't driven it, then make sure you give it a try. We're here at Rio because, if you remember, this car first came out in Forza Motorsport 6, which came out with the track Rio when it was the first race, so I thought, you know, we'll come back and do it and see here. So yeah, this car looks great, it performs great, it has good traction. How is it going to compare to the rest of the cars they've taken around here? So we've not really took cars around any of the tracks we've like this one, for example. So first thing first, we head to the drag strip, and the 4GT obviously is one of the more powerful cars we've taken around this track, well, on the drag strip, taken around on the leaderboard. It's one of the cars with the most traction, which leads to this car getting a time of a 10.093, which puts it into second place, which is 0.3 of a second faster than an Audi R8. The 2017 Audi R8 is 0.3 seconds slower than the 4GT. Pretty sure the R8 has around 600 horsepower and is all-wheel drive as well. Put that into perspective for you guys. But it is 2 seconds down on the Koenigsegg 1-1, which we weren't really expecting this car to go up against Koenigsegg 1-1. But we are here now at Maple Valley, where this car has had 15 minutes to score its highest drift score on a lap. And the first couple of laps I was very, very worried for this car. It has sport tyres standard, but yeah, it's a lot of grip. I much prefer grip drifting. You'll see a lot of my cars that I usually enjoy drifting, that are rear-wheel drive, usually have race tyres and about 300 horsepower. And you was thinking, how the hell do you drift a car with race tyres and 300 miles an hour and 300 horsepower? Don't ask, I can just do it. And this car is got 647 horsepower. It is on sport tyres, so it shouldn't be that hard. But it is, when you want it to drift, it can be quite snappy and hard to maintain a drift. And the first couple of laps we was only getting about 10,000 score per lap. I won't even lie. And I was incredibly worried for this thing because I thought, oh no, I want this to do well. I don't want the top of the leaderboard to be dominated by all-wheel drive cars. And I was very, very worried. Like, for example, we're comparing this to, say, the Koenigsegg 1-1, which only got a lap, a measurement of 13,148 points on a lap. That's what we were getting in like the first and second lap. And then the Audi R8, which is an all-wheel drive car, got 24,041. So I was expecting it to be somewhere around there. But this lap, as you can see, was going very, very, very well. It was crazily good, and this lap got a point score of 36,912. And if you recall, 2 weeks ago, we took the Jeep Trackhawk round, which got a lap score of 37,530. So it's 1,000 down on the Jeep Trackhawk, but a good 6,000 above the Ford Fiesta ST. Now, we are here at the Suzuka Full Circuit, where we are taking this car around for its hot lap. Now, I have to say again, this car is just glorious. Coming around the first hairpin, it's very, very good. A lot of traction, a lot of turning. This car's turning response is impeccable. And the grip around these S-bends, S-curves even, it just doesn't want to slide. Yes, if you're a moron with the throttle, it will slide. Like you see there, I did get a bit excited. I wanted to get around really, really fast, and did get it sliding a tiny bit, so that will lose a tidgy bit of time, but not that much. And as you can see, it just grips. We're coming around the Dunlop curve now, and it is just glued. I was full throttle around this, and not a lot of cars can get full throttle around this corner. That's how good this car is. And coming up to the Degner curves, brakes were impeccable, and turning impeccable, acceleration. Oh, it's just glorious. This car is perfection. We're coming up now to turn 10. Every car can do that really, really well. And uphill hairpin, this is where most cars struggle. And there was a tiny bit of wheel spin. A tiny bit of wheel spin from the Ford GT. It just gets power down, and it gets round this lap so stupendously well. It's got so much grip, and you can see we're hitting the racing lines, we're hitting the apexes, and we're not going wide, we're not losing control, we're not even locking up the brakes. That's just how good the brakes are, how confident I was with this car. It's rear-wheel drive. I'm never this confident with a car with 600 horsepower and rear-wheel drive. But this Ford GT, I love it. It is so, so, so good. We're now on the long straight, and it got to about 180 miles an hour, which is incredibly fast. And then it kept, and then we have to obviously brake for that corner, because that corner is deceptively tight, the one after the long straight. And you don't have to lose that. You can take about 150 miles an hour around there. We're now up to the Casio Triangle, and this was probably the biggest problem area for the Ford GT, because getting around the slow corners, we were in about first and second gear, and that's when it wants to spin its wheels up, like every car will. But once you get it tamed, it's not that difficult. So, the Ford GT, that was a very quick lap if you think about it. The Ford GT got a lap time of a 2:19.975, which puts it into second place. This literally dominates the second place. It's in second on every single leaderboard we've got up to now. Like, just being beaten out by the super fast cars and really easy to drift cars. So it puts it in second place, which is 0.4 seconds faster than the BAC Mono, but a good 5 seconds slower than the Koenigsegg 1-1. Now, if you want to see this leaderboard, it'll be linked down below in the description, and you can see where this car comes and where other cars come in respective to it. But yeah, now my final verdict: do you want this car? Yes, yes you do, because this car is just sublime. It is so I genuinely love this car. Like, I honestly thought it's gonna have a V6, it's an EcoBoost, it's a newer age GT40, it's gonna be crap. It isn't. It is astonishing. This car is damn near perfection. It looks incredible. The Ford blue that it's in is so nice. I mean, we do get a bit sideways there, but that was my error, not the cars. It's just so good, and I cannot say enough good things about this car. I genuinely do love it. But yeah, if you've enjoyed this video, then make sure you leave a like and subscribe for more car reviews like this in the future. We get at least one out every week on the Monday. So yeah, comment down below what car you want to see next, and your opinions on this predecessor to the predecessor of the Ford GT40. Yeah, but anyway, that's it from me, TMDC Hyper, signing out.